It's the Prep Rally Podcast, the only podcast in the state dedicated to prep sports. Brought to you by the Northwest Arkansas Democrat-Gazette. Here's your host, Chip Souza.
All right. This is the April 28th edition of Prep Rally Podcast. We are all here today, Henry Apple and Rick Fires. I'm Chip Souza, your host. Rick came in with his big yellow slicker on today from all the rain we've been having, got the big galoshes on, but he made it in.
You know what I was thinking about that word, galoshes? Where have I heard that? I remember being in third grade, going out to recess. They said, Ricky Lynn, you get back in here. You put those galoshes on.
That's right. Mama say do it, you do it.
Yeah, you do it. So I run back in there and got them on. I don't even know what they are. What were they, like rubber boots?
Yeah, big rubber boots.
Okay.
You go play and stomp in the mud and water and all that.
I was a good stomper and mudder.
There you go. I could see
Still
that
am.
in you. I could see that. Yes, sir. Henry, you saw some good baseball yesterday in the 6A West. We got the regular season wrapped up, and you saw some celebration yesterday.
Yeah. Rogers needed to win by 2 runs to get the top seed. They took care of business 5-0. So they will now be the top seed. But you know what? And I'm not trying to say this the wrong way, but it was the most boring game of the day.
Well, and I think probably that's how Matt Melson wanted it to be. He probably wanted it that way. Now, if we go back to Monday, Harbor. Now they entered the game. The final 2 games of regular season. They were tied. They were tied for the lead at 10-2. Mm-hmm. And Harbor rallied late, scored a late run to win 2-1 on a walk-off. There got a little RBI single to win 2-1. So Harbor leapfrogs over Rogers, takes the 1-game lead, and Harbor's feeling pretty good about themselves. Rogers may be kind of down a little bit, but Matt Melson, the coach at Rogers, who's been there a long time, does such a great job with that program. He was able to use a little psychological. You didn't know I knew that word, did you? Don't ask me to spell it. I can't spell it, but I could say it. Psychological.
I can do the psych part, I guess.
Yeah, you got that down well. He was able to use whatever on his team and get them to refocus, and they got the job done on Tuesday.
Yeah, it was interesting after interviewing him after the game where he told his players, he said, the pressure's on Harbor.
You're right.
He said, we have a bunch of group that was expected to do nothing. We had nobody with any varsity playing experience.
Yeah.
And Harbor had the season team. He said, hey, the pressure's on them. They've got to, take care of business. We just need to do what we need to do, and the players just loosened up, took advantage of some Harbor mistakes, scored 4 runs in the third.
They played a little small ball too, didn't they, Henry? Put a few little bunts down, and that's typical Matt Melson Rogers baseball.
Yeah, put the ball in play.
Make the other team play, and they'll make mistakes sometimes, and that's what they did.
Yeah, and his son JT Melson bats 9th in the order. You think my son needs to be a leadoff here. No, this kid bats 9th. But I saw lightning strike out of his bat twice in back-to-back weeks. Hits that goes opposite field and just drops one right inside the left field line.
Now, Ricky Field's an old field, and they had real chalk lines. Chalk dust may have flown up, but now it's painted all the way down from home plate down. So maybe.
By the way, I think I coined when I played in high school. I batted 9th, and we called that the second leadoff hitter. But there was no lightning.
I think Ricky batted 9 because they wouldn't let him bat 10.
I was told that Rick Fires was a Coke and hot dog hitter.
He probably was.
Yeah, every time he went up to bat, everybody else went to get a hot dog and Coke.
That's like me, and I was Rick in basketball. I was a 20-20 guy. Do you know that?
20-20 guy. 20 points behind or 20 points ahead.
I got in.
And you were there. Yeah.
There you go. I told my coach, I said, I don't care how I get in as long as I get in. And when I get in, ain't going to be no assists in my column. Just going to be shots going up.
Or maybe a foul or two.
So Rogers clinches the number 1 seed. They're going into the 6A state tournament, which will be played in Fort Smith in 2 weeks at Forsgren Field and at the beautifully restored Hunts Park. So they'll be playing down there. Yep. They'll be the number 1. Harbor's still going to be the number 2, so both teams get a bye, which is, that's huge in state tournament play because of, you save an arm for the first round.
Exactly.
Yep.
Yeah. So that's big. So we had that game that was done last night, but that wasn't the most exciting game played last night, was it, Henry?
It was the least exciting game.
Exciting game. Man, so I think Fayetteville and Rogers Heritage, this is now almost 24 hours later. I think they're still playing, Ricky. I think they're like in the 47th inning over there now or something.
How long does a high school game that goes 7 innings and play 13 innings, supposed to be a 7-inning game, goes 13. How long does that take to play?
The game last night took 4.5 hours to play.
Wow.
Oh, my goodness.
Wow.
There was
I could have eaten a lot of hot dogs at that
Yeah.
game.
Yeah.
There were
Yeah.
a total of 417 pitches thrown during this game.
Oh, my
Wow.
goodness.
Wow. It made me tired. I got tired just hearing Henry say that. I mean,
And Fayetteville went 4-1?
4-1.
on their Fayetteville got one hit in the game, and it was a bases clearing triple.
You're talking about it's clutch. If you got to have one, that's the time to do it, isn't it?
Man, so what a wild and epic game. Fayetteville and Heritage. And I've been saying this for a while, basically since the second week of conference play. Heritage is the most improved team in the 6A West from 2 years ago. Last year, we tossed that out. They played 5 games or 6 or whatever, so you can't really judge that. But from where they were 2 years ago, what a great job Brian Walker, the former Razorback catcher, has done with that Heritage program over there.
Yeah, he was supposed to try to do it last year, but
Yep.
nothing happened last year.
Nothing happened at
and
all.
So he had to wait a year, but yeah, they've really come around. And as this game kept going longer and longer, we're sitting here. The bottom 3 seeds in the state tournament are sitting on the line.
Exactly.
So we had to find out. We were sitting here. I had people sending me text messages and all and saying, "Hey, what's the score?" Guys, it ain't over with yet.
Yep.
So because the 4 seed, the 5 seed, and the 6 seed were all on the line based on this game.
Yep.
And Brian Walker, I remember him as a Razorback. He was a great catcher.
Fiery guy, too.
Fiery guy.
Yes.
He'd get jacked up. He's the one that kind of, he'd go out there, walking Dave. When Dave Van Horn went out there walking, the pitcher is coming out. But Brian would go out there first and give him a little lecture or settle him down. And Brian played some pro ball. He was really good in AA. I think he got a nip or 2 up at AAA. And I was a little surprised when he said, "You know what? I'm done. I want to come back and coach the kids and start my career."
Rick,
good for Brian.
Yeah, and I could speak on that. My son was a player like that, and those bus rides, and it's a job, and all that, and it's some guys just say, you know what. I'm not going to be, in Brian Walker's case, I'm not going to be the next Carlton Fisk or Johnny Bench. I'm going to be, this is what I am. This is, I'm about maxed out my ability. What can be next for me? And let me go ahead and start pursuing that next thing. And I think that's what he did. And he was assistant coach a little while back at the U of A. He was a grad assistant there and finished it up. And what a great place to be. With Matt Melson at Rogers and Brian Walker at Heritage, with those beautiful facilities over there, and softball the same thing. He's in a good place.
You know what? And you talk about that. That's a perfect example. But on the other hand, you have those guys who just, that their dream, and I'm not going to give this up. I'm not going to give this up. And I'm thinking about Cody Clark.
Yeah.
Remember, Cody was years and years in the minors and finally got an opportunity. Was it with the Astros?
Several different, but the Royals, the Astros, but he ended up getting a World Series ring with the Astros.
And now he's involved in baseball on a professional level.
Right.
In the
They're a baseball
office
family. Their dad was a longtime coach, and Cody, and then you got Zach Clark, the brother that's the football coach at Springdale. So it's but baseball was also part of his life too.
Absolutely.
And so they're a big baseball family. So that's takes care of the baseball in the 6A West. They've got that wrapped up. Of course, the schools in the smaller classifications, they've started their conference tournaments this week. The 4A1 did get first-round games played on Tuesday. Wednesday's games, as we're speaking in this podcast right now, there is a biblical, rain coming down out there. It's a lot of rain going on and a lot of flooding, so don't know how that's going to affect whatever. But I saw Bat Boys walking in, 2 by 2, so, that's, I don't know if that was an omen or whatever.
Well,
but
I was eating lunch with my wife, and I think I heard a report at the Bentonville Square there was an old man running around gathering wood and chasing
that's
animals.
never good. That's never good.
Can you put a Zamboni out on a baseball field?
Maybe.
I mean, just suck all that stuff up.
That'd be a great invention, Rick.
Yeah.
It'd be fantastic. So we got that going on. Now let's skip over to softball, where, to nobody's surprise, here on Thursday, Rogers at Bentonville. Henry, going to be a huge softball game. for the lead in the 6A West.
Oh, yeah. It's now come down to one game, winner take all.
There you go. There you go. So both teams entered the game with one loss in conference play. Bentonville has one loss, period. A 2-1 game over at Rogers a couple of weeks ago, in which they made basically 2 errors on the same ball put into play. Rogers got 2 runs out of it. What a terrific job by both pitchers. Madison Hindley had it that day. She had it over Mackenzie Vaughn that day. First time she's ever beaten Rogers was that day. Bentonville was that day. So she did a great job, and I'm guessing that Thursday's game, but should be another good one. Rogers had to really scrap and fight to beat Bentonville West last week over at West in a 2-1 game. And so, there's in the 6A West, you got Bentonville and Rogers at the top. They're the 2 best teams. There's no one will dispute that. They're the 2 best teams. Bentonville West is a little click behind, and then last night Southside got a big win, so they're right now in that 4th spot. So really good softball played in the 6A West, and they should do well in the state tournament that's going to be played at Cabot in a couple weeks.
Yeah, where Cabot they're the defending state champion right now because they won it in 2019.
Correct.
And broke Bentonville's string.
That's right. So while we're talking about softball, let's shift over to a little south of Fayetteville, I guess, or whatever Farmington is. Is it south or west? West of
South,
it.
west.
I'm not good with directions. Ricky, I grew up in the country where they said, go down to where that stump is. You know where that stump is. There's a car on blocks over there. Junior over there. He's got that car on blocks. The next street past that, turn to the left, go down big oak tree there on the left side. There's a house on the corner right there. That's where I live.
Now, I grew up in the city up in Michigan. They said, go down to that liquor store and turn to that Bell's Bonds place.
There you go.
And then go over there by the unemployment office. So,
it'd be right in
but I
there.
understand.
It'd be right. Your Mama and them's over there. That's where Mama and them live. There you go. So over at Farmington, now that we figured out where it is, just made a big announcement on hiring the guy that's going to he's replacing the legend, but they found a guy who's worked for the legend. Who also has his own pedigree.
Who is it?
Jason Shirey.
Oh, okay. Do it then.
Big time hire for Farmington. Boy, Bo Thompson has been on a roll.
With his hiring,
he has been on a roll.
J.R. Eldridge.
Yes.
And then these guys, wow.
Yeah. So Jason Shirey, who was a former assistant coach way back when, to Randy Osnes. Then he went to the University of Arkansas for a little while. Then he took the Fayetteville program and built it up, won 2 state championships, I think played in 3 more state title games. They were the benchmark, Henry, in girls softball when we came into fast pitch. That Fayetteville was the standard.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, back when Jason Shirey, had Bobby Petrino's daughter, one of his 2 pitchers.
Yes.
And they could just mow people down.
Yes, they could.
Hey, now, nothing against Jason, but we all agree he's the lesser part of Amber.
No doubt.
Shirey.
He would admit that.
He would say, yeah, okay, all right. I just want to say it on record.
I'm not a scientific rocket, but even I know that one.
All right, good.
Amber is on a different level than
Amber's
Jason.
here,
yes.
And Jason just a little bit, yeah.
And they have 2 daughters who are players. One of them starts on the softball team, and there's no question where they get their athletic ability. That's not even a debate.
And from a little town of Henry, Amber Shirey.
It's slipping my mind right now.
Newark, Arkansas.
Newark, there you go.
Little bitty old town over there.
Known as the Kangaroos.
Right by Possum Grape.
There you go.
Right by Newport.
Yeah.
There we go.
So if you guys listening know any of what they're talking about, you're way ahead of this game than me. So we got a new softball coach over at Farmington. Paris, boy, what a good hire they made too. Henry, they went out and got Jeff Weaver to be their new football coach over there. Now he is going to inherit. The cupboard is far from bare over at Paris. They had a good season last year, and they've got quarterback back and several key players coming back.
Yeah, it's interesting. Tyler Clark leaves Paris, becomes the offensive coordinator at Russellville.
Yep.
What does Paris do? Says, well, hey, you guys just had a former coach, Jeff Weaver. We'll just take him in exchange.
And that's a good hire for Paris, I believe, Henry. I think that's a really good hire.
Really good. Hey, Jeff Weaver was in the running for the P. Ridge job
yes, he
as well.
Was. Yes, he was.
So when P. Ridge announced that Bray Cook's their man, hey, Paris said,
Hey, Weaver was
taking-
long time down there at Greenwood.
Yeah, yeah,
assistant.
he's a Greenwood boy. I mean, he's a
Okay.
native. Yeah, he's a native of
Okay.
Greenwood. So good hire for them. The River Valley gets another good coach. So congratulations to Paris on that hire, and congratulations to Jeff Weaver, who's taking over for the Eagles down there. All right.
The other interesting point, the third finalist in the P. Ridge job, which was Zach Watson, the offensive coordinator at Greenwood, he has been hired to be the head coach at Elkins.
Okay, there you go. There you go. So Elkins has got – so I think we're all filled up now on our football coaching vacancies as far as I know, unless we have something that breaks between now and this afternoon. I think everything's all filled up. So we got that. Also in coaching news, this is, Stan Flinner, long
Yes.
time Alma boys basketball coach, won a couple of state championships there. Ricky, other than you, he's got the best hair of any older guy I know, Stan Flinner, next to you.
Well, you know what? I'll probably give him that, but he probably hey, mine's natural now. When I go to hairdresser, I say, put a little bit gray over there, make me look
Yeah,
distinguished.
it makes him look older.
Yeah,
He
just
get a
make me, come on. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm not 24 anymore.
When I saw Stan Flinner on the
Yeah.
basketball court, one thing always come to my mind, and it was professor.
Yep.
He looks like a professor.
Yes, he does.
He had the look.
I said, you know what? Like Gus Malzahn, I always thought he was like a math teacher. He ought to be on the blackboard doing equations and
He does. They're just X's and O's instead of 1s and 2s and 3s.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So Stan Flinner, with the Natalie attired and great hair, Stan Flinner stepping down into retirement over at Alma, and what a great career. At one time it was him and his wife were the coaches of the boys and the girls.
At the same time.
Madeline. Yeah, Madeline Flinner, and she was also.
Did they get to finals at the same time one year?
I'm not sure about that, but I believe she won a title too. I think, is that right, Henry? Or
I'm
I know
not
she at least
sure.
played for one. I'm pretty sure. I'm not. No, I'm 59.
50%
Yeah,
sure?
I'm 50%. I'm 50% pretty sure that Alma played Siloam Springs when India Lewis was a senior in the final. I believe that's correct.
Okay, if you're 59 years old and you're 50% sure, that means it's probably 3% true.
You're probably right, and I think that's maybe the
Double-check
over.
that.
That may be the over for me as well. That I might not be quite that high. So anyway, the Flinters now will get to enjoy retirement, and if anybody deserves it, they do.
Absolutely.
They deserve it. And so we also want to let you guys know who listening to us. This will be the last week that we'll have our Monday spring sports package with all of our stat leaders and everything. Since the regular season, at least in some of these sports, ended this week. So this will be the last week for that. So if you're looking for baseball, softball, track numbers and that kind of thing, this will be the final week. This is in the Monday digital edition. Now you have to be a subscriber, Ricky, to get this.
I am.
You have to subscribe to get this. And so the way to subscribe, now if you're not a subscriber to the Democrat-Gazette, you need to be, because there's so much unique content that you can get in the digital edition. This is just an example. So I had a couple of people from some area ask me about, how come you're not doing baseball stat leaders anymore and softball? And I said, but we are.
But we are.
We are. And it's a premium content in the digital edition. So if you would like to be a subscriber, you can do that. You can do that two different ways. You can go to our website at nwaonline.com and click on subscribe. You can do it that way. Or if you're techno-challenged like Ricky and you'd prefer to talk to Sarah or whoever answers the phone.
I got called.
You got a call.
BR549.
There you go. It's a little more numbers than that, but I think you can get this, Ricky. 479-684-5509. That will allow you to subscribe to the Democrat-Gazette, Northwest Arkansas edition. You'll get a beautiful iPad with a nice faux leather cover over it to protect it, and read the paper every day and not get ink on your fingers.
Hey, you know what? Even if you don't like to read our stuff, just the pictures. I'm looking at our paper from last night's soccer game, and Andy Shute. Man, these guys do a great job. That is just a great action shot right there when Springdale Harbor and Rogers was playing. By the way, Rogers won that game 5-0. But you need to go to that photo shelter. Those guys do a great job getting action photos on all our spring sports.
Well, Rick, here's something else too. When you do subscribe to the Democrat-Gazette digital, that photo that you see in print today is one photo. That's all you see in print. But on the digital edition, there will be about 15 photos connected to that photo that you can click on, and they'll all. How do you do your sound, Rick? They'll go, phew.
They just go, phew, pop up
Like
right there.
that. They pop up, phew, just like that. And then there will be about 15 photos that are in a gallery, and you can look at those, buy any of them that you want. Again, Andy
Yeah, the
Shoup
parents can buy them, right?
Well, they can
somehow.
Absolutely. So you can
Okay.
do that. So that's something that we want to mention. And so anyway, we got that, and then we also want to remind everyone who listens that we have a prep rally video that drops each week in which we recap all the sports going on in the area. And what else, Rick? You can read Rick Fires' pros almost every day. And
Pros?
His pros. Not P-R-O-S, but P-R-O-S-E, pros.
Yeah,
The pros knows.
I'm enjoying. We all branch out, go to softball. I was at the soccer game last night. Good game there, and also Bentonville boys.
Yes.
Took over first place.
Big
in
win,
Big
huge.
win against Springdale. Springdale's been on top.
Yeah.
Right there, and they beat them 1-0. Who scored for Bentonville? Noah. Some kid from Noah. A kid named Noah. But anyhow, they.
Is that the guy looking for look gathering wood today?
Yeah, he's busy today. Noah's busy today.
Noah Blake.
Noah Blake, that's it. He scored the goal, and they won the game 1-0. They're
I
didn't
didn't
down
know
to
Noah
the
had a
wire,
last name, but maybe he did.
and they're coming down the wire. I think they got about 2 games left, and it's going to be exciting up here when we have the 6A state soccer tournament here at Harbor and Springdale High.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So this is something we really enjoy, and it's for the kids, and we do our best to cover it. And like you said, guys like Andy Shoup and Charlie Cajo out there and shooting the photos. So it's a really good package.
They're working hard out there, Ricky. They are working hard. Unlike us in here, they're working hard out there. They're out in the rain with their gear.
Yeah, and we set up in the press box sometimes, and you see them out there. I was watching our photographer. He was down like Indian style. Can you still say that?
Cross-legged.
Cross-legged, right there. And a player almost runs over him, and then
and he didn't move, did he? He just stayed right there, didn't even move.
He stays there until he gets a shot. So a lot of props to those guys.
Sometimes if I'm in the press box, I'll wrap up a hot dog and throw it down there to them. I can, kind of. My arm's not great, but it's going downhill, so it gathers, fast.
So I was wondering where mine went. So I say, hey, bring a couple back of hot dogs, and I see it down
yours
there.
comes it's red and in the shape of a tomato, but it's still a hot dog. Think of it as a hot dog. Yeah, absolutely. So that's about it. All I've got. Anybody else got anything to add to this? Anything of intelligence?
Be safe out there with all the weather. We're having some bad weather right now.
Yeah, bad weather and all that, and our things are starting to wrap up. I mean, this week we've got conference track meets. Next week, state track meets. I'm telling you right now, Tuesday afternoon, I would love to be in Nashville. I can't be there, but I would love to be in Nashville. Not Tennessee, Nashville, Arkansas.
I thought he was going to see Luke
I
Bryan or somebody.
No.
Okay.
Picking and grinning.
Go. Yeah. I would love to be at the Class 4A state meet and watch Blakely win.
Oh, boy.
Alex Hill and Anna Woosley go.
How about Alex Hill? Well, she had 5 golds, 5 firsts or something?
5 first places, set 2 meet records at the 4A1 conference meet last week.
Wow.
The basketball girl,
yeah,
Alex
the
Hill?
basketball girls. Yeah,
Wow,
she is
what
a
an
good
athlete.
track person.
Wow.
Too.
And then Blakely win, of course. If they played girls hockey at Pea Ridge, she would be a hockey player.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, she would. There's nothing she can't play. But her last name is Win. I mean, that's just what they do.
Runs in the family.
Yeah, runs in the family.
What's that old?
All they do is win.
Yeah.
That's why
I don't know. I knew you'd know that stuff.
Yeah, there you go. I'm the one who brings the intelligence to the table, and that bar ain't real high.
That ain't saying much.
Yeah, I don't have to bring a lot, do I?
No.
So that's it for this week's edition of Prep Rally, the podcast. Thanks for being with us. Now, we'll be back next week. Henry, we'll talk a little more track next week because we'll be gearing up for the 6A state track meet, which will be next Thursday.
Correct.
At
Rogers Heritage.
Rogers Heritage. So we'll have that going on. So that will wrap up the track season. Now, we've still got 1 week left between the end of the regular season and the start of the state tournaments. So next week will be, 4A, 3A, those folks will still be in regional play for baseball, softball. And then the 6A and 5A schools, they've kind of, the ones who aren't finished. Now, 6A softball still has another week to play in the regular season.
Yeah.
But 6A baseball, remember they built that weekend at the end, thinking they were going to have a conference tournament in case any games had gotten canceled for COVID. And fortunately, we did not have any games canceled by COVID. They got every game played on time. And heck, we didn't even really have much weather issues for baseball.
Not too many.
Yeah.
If we did have some, it was just all you had to do. Hey, we'll shift it one day.
Yeah.
Boom. Next day.
But
we
you know,
played.
the big thing, Henry, is Bentonville, Heritage, and Rogers and Fayetteville all having those turfed fields. That helps with any kind of rain because, you know, even though we get rain like this today, if the sun comes out tomorrow, you could play games at Heritage and those places with them.
Correct.
You know, those places.
Or, you know, knowing that softball game between Rogers and Bentonville, Kent Early will be out 7 o'clock in the morning squeegeing that
He'll
field.
have one of those machines,
Yeah.
Ricky.
Yeah.
He'll have a Hoover out there, shop vac.
Now, Henry, I've forgotten because you know we didn't have spring sports last spring. Do they still set aside a week after all the spring sports are done for spring football? Will most of the teams start playing, or have they already started?
Some
playing?
have already had their
Some
spring.
have already started.
Some have already started?
Some are about to start. You know, you get like 4 weeks to put in 10 days of pads.
Okay,
so
that's
there's
what it is. Okay.
a lot of flexibility there.
Yeah. Now the seniors, of course, you know, they'll be long gone, but you know they're out of the picture anyway. So they'll be moving on. So yeah, spring football will be coming. Then we're going to be having team camps for football. Then we're going to be having 7-on-7, and I cannot wait. After nothing last year, I cannot wait.
Well, while you're doing 7-on-7 summer football and shorts and helmets, I'm going to be on vacation.
You're going to be in your pool
I'm going to, well, maybe Branson.
with an
Either-
adult beverage
Yeah, oh yeah.
or 6.
Or, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Give or take.
There you go. So that's it for this week's Prep Right of the podcast. We'll be back next week, and we will have more spring sports to talk about. We'll preview the state track meet coming up, and any other loose ends out there we'll get you. So for Henry Apple and Rick Fires, I'm Chip Sousa. Thanks for joining us, and we'll catch you next time on Prep Right of the podcast.
The Prep Rally Podcast is produced and directed by the Northwest Arkansas Democrat-Gazette. Find us on SoundCloud, Apple, Google Play, Spotify, and Stitcher.